Western Conference Finals begin Tuesday night, Game 1, Timberwolves, Thunder. I'm going to talk about the side, total, player props, free advice, free winners coming up for you right here, right now in the NBA Western Conference Finals. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, and let's get right into it. And don't forget, I've been doing every NBA playoff game every day, and I will continue to do so for both the East and West Finals. Game 1, Minnesota, Oklahoma City for Tuesday night, and then I'll be back tomorrow with your Game 1 Pacers-Knicks video for Wednesday. And by the way, all these Western Conference games were on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern, including this Game 1 Tuesday night. And we've seen a little bit of the line movement here. It opened 7 OKC. Now there's 7.5 across the board. And we've definitely seen some early money come in on the over. Opened as low as 213.5. It's been bet up to 215.5, even a couple 216s floating, some 215s in other spots. So we'll say 215.5. And makes sense that we saw some early money on the over-under in this game because the regular season matchups were very high scoring and the totals were much higher than this. And 3 of those 4 still went over. In fact, the first time they played on December 31st, New Year's Eve last year, it was 217, landed 218. But then they played 3 times in a very short span in February. In fact, they played 3 times over an 11-day span in February. The totals were 227.5 or higher all 3 times. And two of those 3 games got up and over. We had 217, 253, and then 242 in regulation, which ended up at 259 after overtime. So 3 of the 4 did get up and over, and all totals were higher than this in the regular season. So I understand why the early money came in on the over. But as I've talked about a lot, playoff basketball is a different beast. We see a lot more physicality. We see a lot more defensive intensity. And NBA playoff games on average are much lower scored, and we've seen that so far this year as well. And something else I'll point out about the defensive matchup here is these are the 2 most efficient defenses in the NBA playoffs so far this year. If you look at the overall playoff ratings, playoff games only, Oklahoma City and Minnesota number 1 and 2 right now in playoff efficiency defensive numbers. And you would say, well, that's because they're winning. And yes, that is part of the reason. Obviously, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're advancing, you're probably playing better defense than your opponent. But let's just take a jump look. And once again, I'll dive in deeper to the Pacers-Knicks game tomorrow for you. That's a Wednesday night game. But the Knicks rank only 5th in defensive efficiency. The Pacers only 8th. So once again, winning doesn't necessarily mean you have good defensive numbers. Pacers and Knicks are only 5th and 8th in the playoffs. OKC and Minnesota, the 2 best defensive teams this postseason. And offensively, they're only 4th and 5th. Once again, only 4th and 5th offensively. So that's one of the reasons we see a much lower total. And then, of course, in the regular season, Oklahoma City was by far the best defensive team in the league. Minnesota might only be the 6th seed in the West, but they had the 6th best defensive efficiency in the entire NBA this year, and they actually had the 4th best in the West. So Minnesota's better than their overall seasonal numbers indicated. I talk about net rating a lot. It's a good overall metric. OKC, obviously the best net rating this year. They were several points ahead of even Boston and Cleveland. But guess who was 4th? Minnesota. Minnesota, the 4th best net rating in the entire NBA, 2nd in the West. So these really were the 2 best teams in the Western Conference this year. So even though Minnesota finished as the 6th seed, very misleading. They have playoff experience. They made a deep run last year, just missed out on making the finals. And I think they have a very good chance to make the finals this year. And I do feel like they're a live dog in this series for that reason. In fact, if you're looking at the future prices right now, OKC is minus money not only to win the West, but to win the whole thing. They're minus 175 to win the championship. Minnesota 5-1, Knicks 5-1, Pacers 7-1. So if you think somebody other than OKC is going to get it done, you're getting some nice value. And I think Minnesota has a good shot to pull the upset in this series. In fact, they're plus 275 to win just this series, plus 550, as I mentioned, to win the NBA championship. So might want to put a little bit of a flyer on the Timberwolves at plus money in the West here, or even a long shot at 5.5 to 1, a little small wager, maybe 0.5%, 1%, some fun money, because I do think this series is going to go deep. And if I lean towards Minnesota as a possible upset in the series, I'm going to lean towards them in game 1. It's not a necessity that they win game 1, but I think getting 7.5 points, there is some value with them. So once again, I think the T-Wolves are a live dog in this series, including game 1 on Tuesday night. And let's look at the matchup here. I talked about those 4 regular season games, and Minnesota actually split 2 of the 4 with them, and they went 3-1 against the spread. In fact, if you go back to last season, they've matched up pretty good against the Thunder. In fact, in the previous 10 meetings, going all the way back to 2.5 years ago, Minnesota's won 7 of the last 10 straight up. They won 2 out of the 4 straight up this year, which is pretty impressive considering OKC won 68 games. They only lost 14 games all regular season. 2 of those 14 losses, 1/7 of those losses was to Minnesota. And the T-Wolves played 3 of those 4 games without Julius Randle. They played 3 of those 4 games without Rudy Gobert. Now, yes, I think they're 2 of the more overrated, as you know, superstars in the NBA, but it's still 2 of their starters. So they played 3 of the 4 games this year without Gobert and Randle. And ironically enough, the one game they played with both of them, they actually lost that game 113-105. That was the third meeting I believe they played back. No, I'm sorry. That was the first meeting they played. My mistake. First meeting they played back on December 31st was the only time Gobert and Randle played, because they played those other 3 games in early February or mid-February over an 11-day span, and both were injured. So can't read too much into the regular season matchups, but Minnesota still won 2 out of the 3 without Randle and Gobert, and I think they are a stronger lineup with them there. And that's another reason, keep in mind also, defensively they're much better with Gobert. Those regular season games when he played, it was only 218. The 3 he didn't play were much higher scoring. So that's another reason why the over-under line's a lot lower than it was in the regular season. Let's dig into some of those games. We will look at the December 31st game because that is the one matchup in which both teams had everybody. OKC, by the way, was healthy for all the games, as they were pretty much throughout the regular season. Another reason why they had the most wins. But if you look at Minnesota overall this year, as I said earlier, they underperformed their 6th seed. In that first game back in December, Jaden McDaniels had a huge game, 27 points, played over 42 minutes. McDaniels is a guy we mentioned quite often the past few rounds for player props. He only had 7 points in one of the rematches, and then 17, and then the final meeting they played, he had 21. So he might get a little bit less shots with Randle and Gobert, but when they were all in the lineup back in December, he still had a monster game, took 16 shot attempts, had 27 points. Anthony Edwards, by the way, when they all played back in December, only 5 for 15, only 17 points. So we'll see if OKC is able to shut Edwards down. He only had 20 points in the second meeting, 29 points, and then finished the last one with 23. So he was held in check. I would be careful with Anthony Edwards' price, although I do like Minnesota in this series, and Edwards is obviously going to have a good game probably if they win. He's priced to perfection. I don't ever fade superstars, but I would stay away from Edwards and maybe look for some secondary guys. And McDaniels is definitely someone that jumps off the list for me as a possible over prop play in game number 1. As far as OKC, let's look at some guys here. Obviously, SGA is a monster player. He had 40 points in the second to last meeting when these teams played back. Or actually, I'm sorry, the first meeting on December 31st. He had a huge game in that one with 40 points. The other meetings that they played back in February, the most recent one on the 24th, he had 39 points, 11 for 20 shooting. Minnesota was not able to stop SGA, but keep in mind, those last 3 meetings, Gobert was not in the lineup to take away some of the penetration down low, and Randle's a big man as well. And keep in mind, when Denver went to the zone in some of those games recently, SGA did struggle to take it to the hoop. You know, SGA is a guy that gets points by taking to the hoop, getting to the free throw line. Could Minnesota maybe limit that a bit? So another superstar you might want to just put on neutral here and look for some of the secondary players. Jalen Williams finally did something. We talked about how after 3 straight games 4, 5, and 6, we thought he would finally bounce back, and he had 24 points against the Nuggets in Game 7. Will be interesting to see what he does in this series. He obviously, for the most part, vastly underachieved in that Denver series. When these teams played back on December 31st, Williams had only 14 points, and he was 6 for 12 shooting and still finished with only 14. He did have 27 on 23 shots in another meeting, 18 points on 14 shots, and 20 points on 17 shots. So I do like Jalen Williams possibly over at some point. Maybe not game 1, but we'll keep an eye on him. I think he'll have a pretty good series, and we probably get some value now with his over since he did not do a lot against Denver. All right, there's a quick look at game 1. We're going to dig into game 1, obviously, more after we see the results here and which players do well and don't. I take more of a zigzag approach with player props and like to do that after game 1, but those are some guys to take an initial look at. I do think the T-Wolves are a live dog in this series, so you might want to put a little bit of a flyer at plus 275 in the West or even plus 550 to win the whole thing, as it's wide open. Obviously, if you get to the finals, I think they'll probably be favored over either the Pacers or Knicks. So this is really the series. So the fact that their odds are doubled to win the whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense. I would actually probably make them the favorite in the NBA Finals. Whoever wins this series is likely going to be the finals favorite over either the Pacers or Knicks. Hey, by the way, comment below. What are your thoughts? Side total player props here in game 1. What are your overall thoughts on the Western Conference Finals? And do you agree that the T-Wolves could be a bit of a live dog in this series? You know, the Thunder, they struggled at times against Denver. Denver was in that series, and that's a bit of a red flag because that Nuggets team is not as strong as they were 2 years ago. I think the T-Wolves are probably a better overall opponent. We'll have your game one video for the Knicks and Pacers. Don't forget tomorrow for Wednesday here on WagerTalk TV. Click subscribe and click the bell for instant alerts. We might get it up early the day before, just like we did with this video. So when you click subscribe, you click that bell, you know instantly when the free play videos are posted every day for the playoffs here. And don't forget, I'm dropping free play MLB videos as well a lot of days during the week here on WagerTalk TV. So when you click subscribe, click that bell for an instant alert. And if you want to see more free play MLB videos along with these NBA playoff videos, thumbs up, like, positive comment below. I do truly read the comments and I reply back. The more positive comments, the more free play videos I do every day here on WagerTalk TV. It is Tuesday, so it is $5 Tuesday. Once again, don't forget Abe Lincoln always close at hand, so you can pick up a $5 best bet. My top play for Tuesday is available at an instant 80% discount. Normally it's $25 for a top play. It's just $5 Tuesday, so you get my top play for just $5 on Tuesday night. But a better deal is getting every play every day for about $1 a play for the next year. And this is your last chance for a very special one-year all-access offer. It expires on Tuesday night at midnight. So this is truly your last chance on Tuesday to get on board. The special offer you see on your screen, you're going to get a full year of all access. You're going to get an instant 40% discount, over an $800 discount instantly. That gets it down to exactly $99 a month, which is just over $3 a day. And since I average 2 to 3 best bets per day, that's just over $1 a play. So yes, $5 Tuesday is a great offer, but how about $1 a play every day for the next 365 days and nights? That's what you get with this special offer. But the reason it's extra special is you get a bonus 25% coupon, which you can use for any additional picks from any other cappers for the next year. You're going to get every play I release for 365 days and nights. There's nothing more to buy. It's that simple. If I have a best bet, my clients get it. Whether it's a 1 day, a 1 month, or a 1 year package, doesn't matter. Everybody gets the same plays I'm using, same games I've won with consistently for 29 years since I started in 1996. But I don't cover every sport. I do football, baseball, basketball, college, and pro. That's 5 major sports. That's a lot of value for a 1 year all access. But maybe there's a hockey play or a PGA golf play, or there's a MMA, UFC horse racing pick, something like that. This bonus 25% coupon that you're getting included right now is good every day for the next year. You can use it unlimited times on any other pick or package. And once again, it's with this special offer only. It expires at midnight Tuesday. Instant $811 discount plus the bonus 25% coupon. No promo code needed. Check it out on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. Don't forget, if you want something smaller, that's fine. If you're not ready for the 1 year, we do have a 3-day sampler that also expires on Tuesday. Last chance to get 3 days for just $49. So once again, a 3-day for $49. That's $16 a day, or the 1 year all access for about $1 a play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And by the way, bonus free plays every day on my page as well. I post my top opinion for free that just misses the cut, just a bit outside of being a best bet, goes up for free for everybody. So check out the bonus free play, check out the special offers, and get on board right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. On the way out, don't forget to follow me on social media at Steve Merril. You see on the bottom of the screen there, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to WagerTalk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.